In case you missed it, the news wrote, Melly's team has asked to delay his trial until 2026, citing mental and physical health. Melly will have endured conditions worse than death row for over 7 years. As many forget, Melly's been sitting in jail now for 7 years without a conviction. Famous lawyer Bradford Cohen wrote, when I had this case 7 years ago, I said that this case needed to go in the first 6 months. The state wasn't ready. The investigation was terrible. Witnesses were all over the place, and speed was the way to win. However, Melly decided to go a different route, which is what led to this. As the judge announced just how long in days that Melly's been stuck behind bars.
No, but let me repeat myself. Mr. Demons has to make an informed decision about who he wants as lawyers to be. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So, how long would you like to be able to make that decision?
I can't determine when the investigation will be over. That's up to the Broward Sheriff's Office, but I can, as I said, I'm just asking for a week. And then I'm asking for at least a day or two.
You would decide by tomorrow. I've also reserved all of tomorrow.
The judge himself couldn't believe that it's been over 2,000 days without a verdict in his case, as the judge told the prosecutors to give him a good reasoning on why he shouldn't be free, or he was going to release him on bond. As this led to Melly's mother talking about the bond attempt.
We just still praying. I know I said I would give, I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically, the judge is going to do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it can come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, stop. I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming, you know.
Melly's lawyers handed in the new bond package, which had news reporting. Melly's legal team proposed posting an unspecified bond that would be paid by his record label, 300 Entertainment. If granted bond, they assured the judge that Melly would be on house arrest, wear an ankle monitor, and hire round-the-clock security to keep tabs on him. The bond was thought to be so good that a rapper wrote, "That boy Melly coming home, I feel it," as they were going to use evidence that Melly's mother has collected about Melly not being treated like a human in jail.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
Melly's lawyers even brought up the fact that GPS evidence has Melly running away as the crime went down, as he hid into a bush from the alleged drive-by.
That would be the part where he's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, yeah, he's like, yeah, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juvie? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're.
And to further make it seem like Melly's innocent, his lawyers spoke about how a firearm for the crime was never found, as they claimed the guilty party that did the drive-by would have drove off with it.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
But the prosecutors only tried to make it worse for Melly. With it announced, the prosecutors updated the evidence against Melly. He didn't know he was filmed admitting to the murder of Sack Chaser and Juvie, where only 5 hours after the murder happened, video footage catches Bortland and Melly celebrating in a parking lot.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
As it shows, neither of them were upset about the passing of their best friends, as this footage is paired to the footage of Melly and the YNW boys getting into the car, as Melly's seen exiting the studio, sitting directly in the back left seat of the Jeep, in order to get ready for Sack Chaser and Juvie.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes, all right.
The official court documents read, the direction of the bullets, traveling from left to right in the car, supports the claim that the shots originated from the back left seat where Melly was positioned. Even Juvie's mother confirmed who sat where in the car.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the kids in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
But the prosecutors continued repackaging evidence to present to the judge, as they're now creating deals with Bortland and Melly's ex-girlfriend to get them to snitch on Melly, because Melly's ex-girlfriend was meant to testify in the first Melly trial, but instead she traveled out of the country and was hiding outside the United States for the last 3 years. So when she finally returned to the States, she was arrested by police.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
As the judge made Mariah sign a deal for her release, which states she will testify in the upcoming Melly trial. As she wrote to Facebook, "Thank you to my village. I love y'all so much. God's plan, not mine." As Mariah will be testifying to the witness tampering that Melly allegedly did, as investigators dug through her iCloud account and found disturbing evidence. The worst part about witness tampering is that it carries a life sentence if Melly's found guilty for it. Even if Melly's found innocent of taking out Sack Chaser and Juvie, he will still face the life sentence.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
But with Melly doing the witness tampering, he hasn't been allowed to use the jail phones for a full year, as they can't allow Melly to potentially tamper even more with the case. But the no communication has made Melly's mom very upset, as she spoke about it in this interview.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
However, it's what Bortland will do to Melly that will sentence him to life in prison, because they will get him to flip and snitch on Melly, because Melly already tried to pin the blame on Bortland in the first trial.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
Revealing that it's always been Bortland that has been telling lies to the feds. He's the one with the powder on his hands, and he was the one that was with Juvie and Sack Chaser when they passed. They even brought an investigator who spoke further on the firearm powder on Bortland's hands.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of shot residue and 2 component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of shot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was shot residue present on the hands.
Bortlen hated this. Once Melly got a mistrial, he tweeted out, "Mind games don't work on people like me," alongside a handshake emoji, as if he's accepting a deal. As the prosecutors will try to get Bortlen and Melly tried together in the retrial, as it will make it easier for them to make Bortlen snitch on Melly.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. Just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase, it's the same. They're both capital crimes. They're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Because if Bortlen's facing the murder charges when he knows he didn't commit the crime, then he won't just take life in prison to the chin. On top of this, they will be using the interrogation of Bortlen on the night of the crime.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car, and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Expressway. Yeah.
Then you took 75 south?
But it's clear his story isn't making sense with the evidence they found on scene, as Bortlen would get caught in a lie.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass, nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's like...
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my... Like,
these your two, I'm assuming, close friends.
Yeah, we got...
And you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't, like, what do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
Bortlen even got so mad that he began refusing to talk.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even talk about it anymore. Like, cause I told y'all. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
However, the officer resets the conversation by asking about other things in the night. Like, how was Bortlen driving? Did he crash into anything and more?
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys opened the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
With time running out and their allowed interrogation time, the officer would flat out ask, "If you know who did this, would you tell me?"
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS. Okay, and it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay, you may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be.
But weirdly enough, Portland shook his head no, rather than speaking, as he was concerned that if he spoke and was lying about it, then he would have either had a voice crack or would have given off body language to suggest to the officer that he was lying.